It's going to be open to people that have never been to the opera before, and they're doing zip code marketing and reaching out to people who wouldn't otherwise know about it. So I think that the larger institutions in year one figured out pretty quickly that it was an idea contest. It wasn't who's the biggest institution in town. And so we're sticking to that. It's an idea contest. If you've got a great idea, we're going to fund it.
My organization is a theater located in Palm Beach County, and I know you express continuously Miami and Dade Broward, but my great idea is to work in collaboration with other theaters in Dade and Broward. May we still apply as a collaboration if I'm the lead applicant?
Yeah, if your idea is going to take place in South Florida or benefit South Florida, defined as Dade and Broward. So that sounds like it would benefit.
Well, it will benefit Palm Beach County also.
Yeah. Yes.
Are there rules or guidelines about finding matching finance? For example, would you be able to go to other organizations?
Yes. Yes. You would be able to go to other organizations, to other grant-making organizations to create a match. Yes.
So it's very entrepreneurial.
It is. It is. That's a good way of saying it. I actually hadn't thought of it that way. But yeah, I mean, the match is really challenging if you're if you're a young institution or if you're an individual. But we think that's a good thing. We think making the match really separates people from the pack, and we've seen, really, we have been able to work with almost everybody to make their match. Sometimes we give guidance, Michael certainly looks at a lot of these ideas and opportunities, and his folks have, been able to help sometimes. And the people in the community get inspired. You'd be surprised when you get announced that you're a Night Arts Challenge winner. People, as Gene said, your friends step up and people come out of the woodwork. So it does happen.
And we do not match in-kind funds that are volunteer hours or those types of things. We're not looking for that as a match.
Could you take us into the mind of the readers? What's the parameters that the readers, and who are they? Have you not named them? I mean, who are these people?
Sure. The Readers Group are a group of Miami's and Palm Beach, Miami and Broward, well-known cultural figures. We have had museum directors, we have had conductors, we have had theater professionals. These are people that know their disciplines very well, but also go beyond that, where they are able to know a cross-section of the community's cultural organizations and what's going on, basically. So we try to get a cross-section of people that are, I wouldn't call them household names, but if you've been in this community for a little while, you would know who they are pretty quickly. And as far as taking you in their minds, that's tricky. No, I can't do that. Take you in my mind. I mean, I come from the venture capital world, and I've just begun to do this philanthropic thing. It's been a couple of years now since I started this. I can't say it enough. It's when that light bulb goes on where you go, that's a good idea. I actually would say that a good title helps when you're trying to separate yourself from 1,600 applicants. Chris Trebek, the guy that started the film, where he was saying, I didn't think a guy like me who, lived in, I don't know if he lives with his parents or what, but, he won. And the name of his idea was Lego My Demo. So good ideas have thoughtful titles and things that will grab you and make you think about them. So I think that helps sometimes.
You speak more about how the money works. Like, is it paid at certain intervals or when you raise money? Talk more about that. And also, if you're rejected, do you give feedback to the losers?
Okay, I'll take this latter part first. It's not possible to give feedback to 1,580 people, so we're not able to do that. We're not able to give feedback to the people whose ideas are not moved on to the finalist area. As far as how the money works, if you make it to be a finalist and you submit your proposal and you say, I need $40,000 in year one and $40,000 in year two, that's how the money is distributed to you when you match in each of those years.
The fact that the idea has been rejected in the past, will it help or doesn't help to be presented?
You know, that's an interesting question. There have been some pretty good ideas that simply didn't make it to the final cut. And I think that circling back on some of them, you know, it's a different readers group every year. They're not always the same people. And, you know, somebody might like Czechoslovakian, you know, folk dancing, you know, this time. I mean, not disparaging Czechoslovakians or folk dancing. But, you know, you really don't know. I think that, you know, if you feel like you've got a great idea, obviously if you were a finalist also before, you know, that's something to kick around and try and figure out what it is that'll get you over the hump. So, but no, I think that, you know, I think that it's not so bad to resubmit an idea, actually.
How many straight-for-profits, if any, have been funded?
Let's see, Bank Atlantic, certainly. Probably about 10% of the ideas were funded to straight for profits. Yeah, but that's not. We frankly don't really think much about the entity when we're looking at it, you know, straight up in the beginning. We're really looking for that compelling idea that will change the community, that will kind of drive us to a, you know, to a different place as a community. So we're not really struggling with for-profit versus not-for-profit. I think people have a built-in bias with you know, foundation or philanthropic funding that they think it only goes to not-for-profits, and it usually does, frankly. But in this case, it doesn't. And so, you know, as the word gets out, I think we're going to see more and more folks, you know, with ideas like that.
Could you tell us the minimum and maximum amounts awarded last year? Maybe we talked about the range from $1,000 to $200,000?
No, the minimum amount last year was $15,000. And the maximum amount was to the ballet, and that was $900,000 over 3 years. The year before, the minimum amount was probably $20,000 or somewhere thereabouts. 18,000, and the maximum amount was a project for $1.8 million. Let me just take that and kind of run with it for a sec. You know, so 50 ideas in 2 years, about $12 million. That's an average of $240,000 an idea. But understand that, you know, big ideas from big institutions who are able to, you know, who are better able to manage $1.8 million or $900,000. You know, you got to be careful about that. We're going to be looking. If you're a sole proprietor who has never, you know, who's never done anything like this before, you're probably not going to back a truck up for $1 million. So you got to be realistic about that, you know. But it's still an idea contest. If you have a great idea and we get you to that next level, there are ways to, you know, there are ways to work that out.
Thank you. When you submit your idea, do you submit the amount that you were looking for, or does that wait to?
Right. No, you don't submit an amount when you submit your idea. Some people do anyway.
Oh, they do.
You know, some people choose to say, you know, it's going to take $33,000 to do this idea. It's your choice in your 1,000 character phrase.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's right. You're losing words, exactly. So some people choose to do that maybe in the hopes of convincing us that it's not going to, you know, take that much money to do the idea. So that's really your choice. But there's